What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Before we start the video, I just want to remind everybody the content creator program does exist for Game of Thrones KingsRoad. So if you are looking to support a content creator of your choice, hopefully you choose me. This will be an option very, very soon for people to click that support button. If you do support, I will be sending out codes for you guys once I complete certain missions, giving you guys more rewards and loot for free just for being a supporter. It's a simple thing to do. So once this is out, I will let everybody know. If you are looking to support a content creator, remember, I never miss missions, and I love video games, and I love my community. All right, guys, now on to the video. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Game of Thrones KingsRoad video. All right, folks, we got ourselves a little bit of content to cover here. Now I'm on chapter 2. I'm kind of taking my time here, obviously. I'm doing a lot of like searching, exploring, making sure I get some content for you guys, especially finding things that are out there that you guys may not have time to search for. Like, for example, the tribute video, right? If you are looking for tributes, make sure you go check out that video. It will help you guys get majority of the tributes you need from chapter 1 in order to at least get yourself as many inventory slots as possible so you guys can take advantage of a lot of the farming. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about is the skill tree and everything that's involved in that skill tree, as well as what you guys should kind of be aiming for depending on the class you go for. Now, personally, I'm playing Knight. I played Assassin in beta. It was actually a lot of fun. Enjoyed it, but I do want to try the Knight class out. And actually, to be honest, I like the balance in it. So I do want to talk about the skill tree and what you should be looking for in regards to that. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm going to be doing a little bit of farming. But the skill tree is comprised of 3 different places, right? It's comprised of attack, support, and defense. And you're going to want at least one of each main items or skills from those trees, and we're going to go over the most important ones and why they're the ones you actually want to choose. So let's go ahead and open up the skill tree real quick. You guys can see there's a trait tree and a skill tree. We'll talk about both the trait and the skills. So we'll talk about the trait tree first. Okay, so let's go into this one here. You guys can see attack, defense, support. Okay, now depending on how you want to play co-op and how you want to play regular ones, it's going to depend on your playstyle. Okay, attack is very simply attack oriented, all right? And what you want to do is you want to make sure you have a good balance. Now, if you're going to play assassin, majority of the time you want to actually increase crit rate and critical strike damage in order to get as much of that crit rate and damage out as you can, because that is the best multiplier in the game. If you're playing something like Knight where crit rate is a little bit lower, you might want to focus on increased power, but of course your crit rate doesn't matter unless you have power to go along with it. So you want a good balance between these. You always want to at least get yourself the mighty strike as well too, because that does do quite a bit of damage. But at the same time, remember, you guys can always reset all your points that you don't want to get, right? So getting rage, for example, if I don't want any of this, you guys can click on that and go ahead and reset those buttons by doing this, right? You got a trait point back, and you can also level down here as much as you want, and you can focus on getting like one of these and putting the rest of it all here if you wanted to, right? Just to boost your attack power as much as you possibly can. So the ideal way here to do this, in my opinion, is at least get the mighty strike, put a little bit in crit, and if you want pure savagery and your crit's really low, for example, if your crit's really low, right, you guys can check your own stats. If your crit is low, then you may not want to focus on crit. You might want to put more on attack, because that's what's going to give you guys more out of it, right? Like you can see here, crit strike for me is 1.2%, so it's not really much. So instead of having crit rate until I get better gear that offers me crit rate, right, you may want to consider going pure attack just to maximize that. So look at your stats, look at your gear, and then have a better understanding of what you want to do with your attack setup versus what you want to do versus crit and crit damage, right? So that's going to be an important one. And remember, rage does matter as well, because rage will of course give you guys more abilities to gain rage back to do more skill. So for now, for myself personally, I was just trying to balance it out to show you guys. I'm going to go all attack for now, and then I'm going to focus on getting a little bit more crit once my actual gear gets up there. I have the Savant gear, and for now, that's good enough to support that. All right, now let's go on to defense. Defense is unique in one sense. You actually want to get this. This is super, super important, the parry ability. So if you go to your skills, you'll notice on the default section, right over here, you won't have parry unlocked unless you've actually unlocked it through the defense trait skills, right? So you want to make sure you do this. Now parry is incredible for a couple of reasons. Number one, it does stagger your opponent instantly whenever they attack, and you deflect it at the right time, giving you an advantage, completely opening them up for a good combo or a big hit. And this is going to be great for bosses and other units as well too. Evasion, attack, and everything else is nice, but I find parry to definitely be the better one. You guys can see here, like parry link attack right there. See, it actually does do fairly decent damage. Now it is maxed out and you can't level it up, but it does again open up the opponent for a big combo. So make sure, guys, parry is something you choose from the trait tree for sure. This, if any reason you want to go there, that's the reason. Now the other reasons why you might want to go defensive spec is if you're going to play tank. right? Because in co-op mode, there's going to always be somebody who takes the most amount of damage. In every MMORPG or any type of open world RPGs, there's attackers, supports, and tanks. And if you're going to play a tank class for a knight, for example, which you can, you might want to focus a little bit more on the defensive side. And this, remember, you can always switch to whenever you feel like you have, you know, the want or will to be in co-op and want to actually help players through while being a tank and taking most of the damage. Now, support is an interesting one. This one doesn't necessarily need you to actually put too much into it, but you guys can see it does revolve a lot more around crafting, using items, gaining rage, and also right here you guys can see it increases your max rage. Now that's an important one, actually, believe it or not. The max rage aspect of it is actually fairly important, and this is early on. Remember, I'm still very early game here, and this will evolve as you play, because you can see the skill tree does go fairly high and does do quite a bit more. So early on, attack may matter most, but then as you get into this and you see some of the better critical hit strike options, that might actually be a better choice for you. And then you can see here, increasing days, increase attack power by 15. So there's a lot here that is available to you to boost those stats. But for now, because it's early game, that's what you want to focus on. So what I would say early on, unless you have really high crit, which I don't see how you would, is focus here first. Defensive, definitely get your parry. You can choose whichever one of these is better for you. I chose the guard one. Here I wanted more rage, so I got a little bit more rage just to give me the ability to do more casting. And again, this will evolve further as we go along. You guys can see here, these are exactly the effects you can get at the moment. And then this will be stats effects if you want to see your stats, and this will be special effects if you want to see your special effects. So super important, guys, to understand early on the skill tree is going to look much different. Now, as I play more and I get more time into this game, I'm going to offer you guys more advice and better advice when it comes down to mid to end game content, especially when it comes down to your overall use of your skill tree and your trait tree. Now, let's go to skills. This is an important one as well too, right? As you play the game, you're going to get these books that will allow you to level up your skills. There's going to be the basic skill points, and then there's going to be the active skill points. So active skill points are going to be your actual skills. You guys can see the knight, for example, has all of these skills available, and you can level them up. Now, as you level up the skills, the ones in orange are going to increase. So the damage will increase, and then these will increase as well too. Okay, so you guys can see here, for example, all of this went up, and then you guys can equip it in one of your slots here and then use it. You guys can see detailed effects as well right here. And as you move it up, you guys can see also the orange numbers change. And as you level up the level itself, you guys can see the damage changes as well. And then of course you can enhance them even further, right? So very, very important to remember that. Now, the knight skills, shoulder charge is the best one in my opinion, extra charge stab when it comes to overall damage. And then of course the pommel strike does a lot of damage. It does also have a bleed damage effect as well too, but has no range. So keep that in mind. If you plan to do pommel strike, it's a great option. Just keep in mind there's some extra effects as well too you can get from either crafting on your gear or having some sort of extra effect added to the slots of your reforge. So keep that in mind. Now defaults also work a different way. Defaults actually level up your strike combos and your special skills, not your actual skills, active skills, but special passive skills. So for example, you can level up your sneak attack, which will do more damage when you sneak behind an enemy. You can level up your mighty strike, which obviously does way more damage whenever you do bigger hits. And then you can, of course, level up your evasion strike, where when you evade an attack, that can do more damage there. Then there's sprint attack light, sprint attack heavy, etc. And some of them are already maxed out for you. So the ones you want to focus on first are the ones you do most of the combos with. So if you're somebody who likes to enjoy doing basic combos, basic 3-hit combos real quick and then kind of back out and give yourself a little bit more time to regroup, you can do that. If you like the stronger combos, which is 4 hits, for example, and 2 heavy strikes, you can do that as well. And you can see here, once you get to a certain level, you can actually increase the strike damage and the daze damage based on what you're doing here. So you can go amplification, retribution, etc. Right? So it's important, guys, to remember, not only are you leveling up the skills here, but you're also going to want to level up the actual skills here based on what you do best, right? You guys can see, for example, this one increases strike combo by 10%. Hitting with strike combo has a 50% chance to inflict burn. So for example, I want to get that one up and I want to level it up, and you guys can see momentum does increase as well with it, so that's important to remember. So this is a combo, for example, that I will use quite often. It's 1 basic attack and then into 3 heavy attacks, all right? And that's a combo that I actually do enjoy because it's fairly fast and does apply the burn effect. So there you guys go. keep in mind, guys, this is very early game. This is early game skill trees and trait trees. This is going to help a lot of you guys understand how it works, what you should focus on. But at the end of the day, we are looking for end game content and mid game content. So once I get there, I will 100% be providing you guys those updated tier lists as well too for the skill tree and trait tree, and help you guys hopefully understand the best ways to achieve the maximum amount of damage you can get. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.